What's up and welcome everybody, my name is Joe.
And I'm Elias. Together we are the Red Bull Driftbrothers.
Onto the wall again, Eddie Hitoji really bringing it right now to James Day.
Joe Hitoji is now backing down as he goes to the front wheel. They are all over each other across the line as the crowd explodes in Turin. The Germans are putting on a show.
Taking you guys along on the journey in this sport that we're competing in for more than 10 years now.
With BMW M joining, we are now building these new BMW M4s drift spec to compete in the Drift Masters European Championship, which is the strongest drift series out there.
Our goal is 1000 plus Newton meters, 1000 plus horsepower in both of those badass S58 powered BMW M4 drift cars. Time is short, a lot of things to do, so let's go.
For after lunch?
Why?
Bit of a shaky hand.
So the minute the cars arrived here at the shop, we started working on them, taking out all the interior, taking away the camouflage wrapping of it, and went straight to work with actually putting stuff back at the cars.
Yeah, so the first thing on our list was the cooling, because as you already heard, we're aiming for 1000 plus horsepower, 1000 plus Newton meters, so doubling the stock power. So we need a lot of cooling, because yeah, a lot of power.
Pretty much double the power, double the cooling.
Yep.
That's what we need.
Yeah. So we ended up with a, in my eyes, cool solution. So we have one radiator pack in the front.
No pun intended.
Yep, one radiator pack in the rear, and both are double stack, because we also use water-cooled charge cooling.
It's just a placeholder.
Okay.
Sven bought some proper mounts.
Okay.
And we shouldn't put them here, but we can put one there, one there. Mm-hmm. They're like welded with rubber mounts.
Okay, cool.
And then maybe for somewhere here. Mm-hmm. And also there on the back. But I thought it's better to not mount them like hard, so they can move a bit so they don't crack.
Yeah, yeah.
A lot of additional parts besides just the pure lines, a lot of pumps, a lot of sensors, a lot of wiring needed to be done, right, to make it all work.
Exactly, because we need to bring the water from the front to the rear, and also we have to be able to modulate the flow through the rear and the front. So that's why we needed the lines, we needed more pumps, we needed more sensors.
Cooling is a challenge, especially in drifting where you're on all this power. You're going sideways, so airflow is not optimum. You don't flow air from the front of the car because you're sideways a lot. So cooling is a big challenge in drifting.
So with all this power, the engines need a lot of fuel.
They're thirsty.
They're really thirsty. So Radium Engineering provided us a really neat little kit. So that's the fuel cell. It is for once really safe, and many components are already inside the fuel cell. So you have up to 4 fuel pumps, 1 lift pump. So that means you have also a surge tank inside, and that means the engine will never starve from fuel as long as there's some fuel in the fuel cell. We already placed this one in the cars, and we placed it in the former back seat area, because we wanted to bring the weight close to the central of the car, because the wheelbase is comparatively long if we look at our former drift cars. And we want to keep the drift cars as agile and snappy as possible.
Not to make it too easy, direct injection is what we're dealing with those engines, and direct injection has some sort of limitation when it comes to flow. That's why we added port injection. We're gonna get into more detail on that pretty soon, I guess.
Yeah, so actually we're running 2 systems in one car. We now talked about the cooling, all the lines, the pumps, the sensors, the fuel. So I think now it's time to talk about the safety.
safety, and brings us to the roll cage, which I appreciate the way it looks already. It looks very thoughtfully planned, to say the least.
And I know why it looks like this. So we actually teamed up with AST from Spain, Alessandro, a really cool guy, and we developed a roll cage in this brand new chassis that, for one, is really safe, and second, we two guys actually fit in there. So with the roll cage design, this time we started where we should, with the seating position of the driver. We made sure that both drivers have a really comfortable seating position, they can reach everything, and then we started to design the roll cage.
Around the driving position, pretty much, around the driver's position.
So this is a screw-on part, as you can see. We have 4 holes here, so where it connects to the car. We have the base plate on the car, and the special thing in drifting is that we are often forced to ride walls with our rear.
Look at Joe Tunji not backing down in.
Yeah, almost identical cars, both running LSXs, and Eli Hutunji takes the back bumper and booted off his car.
And in case something goes wrong, we want to replace them quite fast. And that's why if we look from the top, let's put it in top view like this, you see that the corners are already like angled in 45 degrees. This is mostly the angle that we would touch walls, so we have more space. So the bumper is way further out. The bumper is around here, like here in this area. So we have a lot of, or not a lot, but we have some space in between the bumper and the real structure, because in case we have a real accident driving in the rear, then we also need to have some structure to absorb some energy. And so that's the 2 basic ideas of these crash bars. So in a case of a really bad accident, they should absorb energy. And for the normal situation in drifting, they should allow for some space on the corners to have just a flexible area, let's call it this way. And in case something goes wrong, they should be replaceable quite fast. And that's why we will screw them on to the chassis with these plates.
That's it.
That's it?
Okay, I have 1 minute left.
Okay, then ask a question.
There are so many. This is crash bar at the rear, crash bar in the front. Do we have it?
In the front we don't have a crash bar there, because the original structure from BMW is already really simple and really nice. So we can replace it really fast. That's why we decided to use the OE part from BMW M, and we don't have to build one.
Obviously, roll cages also add a lot of stiffness, structural stiffness to the car. So it is, again, another performance feature as well, if you will.
Yeah, so stiffness means all the inputs you give to the car translate way faster to movement of the cars than if you have a low stiffness car. So that means the driver just feels it more direct what he does.
So there is no delay. If you turn in, the car reacts directly to your input you give it. There's no delay due to just parts bending. So that's it for today. We appreciate your feedback, your input on what we're trying to accomplish. A lot of work there.
Yep.
I think it's time to get back at it.
Exactly. So have a good one and join us next time.
Peace.